Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining us on 13 Plus. I'm Mary Coleman. Hope you're having a great Wednesday so far. Well, tonight is part 2 of our stories. The first one you heard about last night, and tonight, a mother who lost her daughter says a committee setting industry standards for infant sleep products might be undercounting babies' injuries and even deaths. Here's National Investigative Reporter Lee Zurich with that story.
It's a level of greed and evil that I don't think can be remedied until it happens to them.
2 years ago, Myra Thomas Romero's baby girl, Allie, became a victim of unsafe sleep. Myra has spent the months since her daughter's death working to change safety regulations and dig into the companies that make various baby items, especially those that have been associated with injury and death, like Allie's.
My big thing is I don't understand how these companies can become millionaires off of these products, off of our children, while promising that they're safe, while promising and deceiving people like me who work every damn day 2 jobs to afford the down payment for their products, to then still brag about their products on social media.
As she's worked to make sure Allie's life counted, she's learned how easily injuries and deaths can be discounted. She joined a committee that is setting standards for infant sleepwear. Her hope to make a difference. Her reality, frustration.
I don't know that my advocacy has done anything but potentially end up with more dead children.
Allie was only 6 months old. She went to sleep in a separate room in a flat bed like this, with raised sides. It was positioned on the floor. She was wearing a weighted infant sleep sack, a popular product because the weighted pocket is advertised as a soothing tool for babies, the pressure like a mother's touch. But Allie was found unresponsive and died at the hospital. Myra's advocacy is now concentrated on her work with setting standards. She's on a subcommittee for infant wearable blankets, a part of an organization called ASTM International. That group helps set voluntary safety standards for companies that make all kinds of products, from building materials to consumer products. Often those standards are used in creating public policy through the Consumer Product Safety Commission, or CPSC.
Our law requires us to defer our rulemaking authority to the voluntary standards groups if they can come up with a rule that is good and is complied with. The only problem comes in when things take a long time or it comes back as a half measure, and then we need to evaluate whether we still need to do something on top of that.
Right now, the ASTM committee is considering voluntary regulations about weighted infant sleepwear, like the one Allie was wearing the night she died. The American Academy of Pediatrics is so concerned about this product category, it doesn't even want standards set here because it might give the impression the product is in any way safe. The doctors group says categorically it is not. The committee, made of industry insiders, consumers, and others, is deciding what the industry should require of designs. And as part of that process is looking at data about kids who have been injured or have died.
And they still would not count my daughter as what I said, having died wearing one.
We have the industry telling us in this particular case they have no incidents. And yet we know of incidents. There's consumers in the room who've had incidents. And so we really rely on CPSC data to be able to cut through, to understand what the issues are, and to take aggressive action.
When we have information at the agency and our experts analyze it, I trust that analysis. I know that their motivation is to analyze it down the line and do whatever after that we can to advance safety. And I question whether you hand that over, not in this instance, but in any of these instances, to an industry that sells the products that could be regulated by what comes out of the analysis. What motivations do they have when they're looking at that? And do you get the same results?
Our national investigative team obtained numerous records related to sleepwear incidents and the reports the ASTM committee uses to tally babies who should and shouldn't be counted when considering how to regulate weighted sleepers. This is the CPSC report, with company names all redacted because of a federal law restricting the agency from releasing that detail, even to the very committee trying to set a safety standard. And these are the internal spreadsheets confirmed by multiple members being used by the committee to tally injuries and deaths. In the hazard analysis, members say they are only counting one incident and one death tied to a weighted sleep sack. But in our analysis of public records, we found 8 reports of deaths involving weighted sleepwear.
If incidents that say, hey, someone died in it or someone was found in it are not enough to at least review, that's frightening.
Shana Raphael, another mom and member of the ASTM subcommittee, questions why members are interpreting data and doing hazard analysis at all.
When they are manufacturers or textile specialists, they are not forensic pathologists, and it is wildly inappropriate for them to decide on their own what the contributing factors were for infant death or why not they should be on the fatality or incident chart. I think that that's incredibly problematic.
This issue of manufacturers' interest playing a role in safety protocol isn't new. In fact, it's a pattern those involved in this current wave of infant safety find eerily similar to other standards set years ago, involving incline sleepers and the now recalled Fisher-Price Rock and Play. That product tied to over 100 deaths since 2012, a number only revealed recently through congressional hearings.
Anytime we have infant deaths in a product, I am terrified that we might have the next Rock and Play on our hands, and I like to act as quickly as I possibly can within the law to address any hazard in that space.
I don't understand how after Rock and Play there was no movement, but I know that Congress is very hesitant to disrupt the market in any way.
In recent meetings, critics of weighted blankets have referenced the similarities to incline sleepers, like Fisher-Price's products.
The recurrence of historical tragedies, such as the instances of unnecessary deaths associated with incline sleepers.
The CPSC added weighted swaddles to its list of products that should not be used with infant sleep, but it has faced backlash from the industry. One commissioner even accused of violating the law after asking retailers to stop selling all weighted sleep sacks. Though Myra is dismayed by her experience, she continues to fight and is hopeful the CPSC will help make sure Allie's death is a statistic.
Because usually I'm so defeated and worried about what I'm going to do the next day or how, because there's no consulting firms for people like me. So, but there's commissioners. There's consumer advocates there. So.
Now, the Consumer Product Safety Commission released new data just last week. It shows 397 incident reports involving infant sleepwear. Most of those reports involved deaths, but the agency refused to say how many of those involved those weighted sleepwear that you saw this evening. We'll continue to follow this closely and bring you any new details that our team comes up with. For now, we'll leave you with a live look from our Mount Bigelow camera, where things are looking pretty nice out there, maybe some haze in the air. We hope you join us for 13 News Live at 10 for more of your weather and news headlines.